Treat me like a fool, treat me like cruel, but I love you.
Who calls me from out of the pit?
I'm Paul,
I'm Mark.
and this is the return of the son of the show. Tonight we're going to talk about the the episode of Svengoolie we just watched, which had Destroy All Monsters. Hence the
All the monsters.
all the monsters.
Yes.
Not all the monsters
No.
from that movie, but some of the best monsters in the Godzilla movies.
Yes.
It's just us tonight. Nick is off doing some kind of undercover work for sure, and Mike is. Last I heard, he was helping Shaq work on his free throws.
That's correct.
So it's just us tonight. But we want to talk about Destroy All Monsters. We want to talk about the Svengoolie episode and kaiju in general.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have our lightning round question towards the end. So stick around.
I would say nobody has anything to fear from us. But we are going to control you now.
So, Destroy All Monsters.
Yes. It's a classic. It's a favorite from childhood. And
Yeah.
Godzilla, if there was one thing I made sure my son grew up liking, it was Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
So that I could watch them all again.
Yes.
And blame it on him and get the toys again.
Yes.
And so, yes, it's just a childhood memory, really. And watching it again just brings all that up.
Yeah.
And as an adult, we can appreciate the poor quality of some of it, but that's its charm. That's the whole. Toho created a whole universe. The whole world, and there's an ongoing. You talk about Star Trek having 10 or 12 movies and James Bond going on 25 years. But Toho, the Godzilla storyline was going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was connected. So,
yeah.
That's a franchise that's been around, going strong for a long time.
Yes. It was the Avengers, the MCU of its time.
And this was, and this sort of Destroy All Monsters was sort of would have been the,
I'd call it Endgame.
I'd call it Endgame. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Endgame. Yeah.
Which is where the MCU movies probably should have stopped.
Correct.
But this was the ninth movie. It was supposed to be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
The movie Destroy All Monsters, where I think one monster dies.
Correct.
So they didn't do a very good job of destroying all monsters. Right side up. Yeah, okay.
So you can put in the camera.
This is one of the coolest things ever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Criterion Collection.
Yep, the Criterion Collection. It has an entry for all the different Godzilla movies up until, I don't know, 1975?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we, Aiden and I started watching when he got this was like pre-COVID, so probably around 18, 19. We started watching each one of the Godzilla movies in a row because we started to notice the distinct difference. Like, why was it when the first Godzilla movie came out and it came to the States, they altered it for American audiences, and it's a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. I enjoy the original Japanese much better.
Sure.
But the Raymond Burr version is really good. And what we noticed was as the movies progressed, there was less stuff they messed with, because for some reason they had to mess with it. When they came to the States, they had to mess with every one of them.
They probably didn't know what they had when it came to the States.
Yeah,
we need a name, we need a face, we
Yeah.
need something grounded.
Yeah.
And Raymond Burr is, something grounded that will
Right.
keep the American audience introducing to the bizarre.
Yes. Yeah, because up until that point, this was, Godzilla was the first, the first Godzilla movie might have been too much, and they didn't, like you said, they had to interject an American in there for an American audience. But the thing about this movie is it's probably the least tampered with.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason why they tampered with each movie when they came to the States was because they did it once.
Yeah.
And it did so well.
So why break the formula? Why, if it worked, we don't want to take a risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I still don't quite understand the Raymond Burr in this movie, the British guy, the old British guy who just doesn't. He seems to be window dressing. So.
Yeah. Well, again, maybe they figured this. The Toho was beating the American producers to the punch and throwing a white guy in.
Sure.
There,
yes.
So they don't have to, because they saw what happened.
Correct.
In previous movies, maybe I don't know.
They could have had a whole team. They could have had one from every city that got hit.
Yeah.
So they could have really been diversified.
Yeah, their obsession with France.
Yes. Yes.
French person.
Yes, the Arc de Defeat was destroyed. France's greatest, apparently, monument. According to the movie, not the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower.
Everyone has.
Yeah.
But nobody knows what it's called.
Right.
It's the greatest one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. Yes.
Yeah. I did find some interesting things about this movie, though. It's not my favorite by far, but there is some interesting things to point out about it, like the fact that the screenplay was written by the same guy that wrote my favorite Japanese monster movie of all time, Mutengu, or Attack of the Mushroom People. So that guy writes one of the scariest, weirdest movies of all time, and then he also writes this. So he had range.
Yeah. But there was a lot of plot in this movie.
There was a lot of
now, if you came in going for, I want to watch a monster movie and watch the kaiju fight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it did have. I mean, there was quite a complex plot.
Yeah.
And lots of pictures of spaceships landing. And so, although as a Thunderbirds aficionado, I appreciate transforming little ships, and I was waiting for it to become Robotech at one point.
Yeah, it's a great rocket.
Yeah, it's a
really
cool looking ship.
They got their money out of it for sure.
Yeah, and they definitely. I would assume. What year was this made? This was. I'm not sure. I'm assuming Ultraman would have already been on the scene.
68 or 69 this came out.
Yeah. So that can be kind of reminding me a little bit of the outfits from Ultraman.
Yeah.
The aliens were not as cool as the aliens in other Godzilla movies.
No, but there is something cool about the aliens, though. Their name, the Kilak or whatever they were called, was the name of the villain in the Legend of the 47 Ronin.
Oh, okay.
He was the bad guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So they took that from that, I guess.
Gotcha. I mean, the fight, the battle scene at the end, which you get that with a lot of Godzilla movies. I mean, the first 45 minutes you're not going to get much, and so you've got to wait for the monsters. And so I thought, the battle itself was okay, but the final battle went awfully quick.
Yeah.
And they took out King Ghidorah pretty quickly when he's typically really hard to take out.
He is the OG. He's the beast. He's the thing that can defeat Godzilla.
Right.
And they, granted, it was all monsters.
All monsters on him. So yeah.
But still, it was, and this movie gets has the least amount of monster screen time. It's like Godzilla's in it for 8 minutes. So the whole, I think maybe 11 minutes total is probably what all the monster, if you put every single bit of monster was in a movie that's an hour and a half long, you get 11 minutes of monsters. So And speaking of costumes, I love the Beastie Boys spacesuits.
Yes, 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 yes.
With the little antenna
Yeah,
on
the
their head.
antenna on their heads. Yes. Yeah, that was classic. Yeah, and you got to wonder, Godzilla's not doing a very good job of training Mila to be a fighter because Mila just was sort of cheering from the sidelines.
Yeah.
And
I don't understand that.
no, the
He had the thing
he's
is,
sort what is he like sort of the Ewok of of Godzilla movies for the kids?
or his cousin
Yeah,
Oliver.
he's the cousin Oliver. Mila Jinx.
So crazy is okay.
Oh
Like
no, I can just see Mila with cousin Oliver's haircut.
I'll
We
see
want
if I can
we
dig
need to put
photos.
that together. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, up until this movie, the Godzilla movies and in the kaiju movies from
Hmm.
Toho in general all existed in present day when they were being filmed.
Yes.
But this one does about a 30-year time jump.
To 1999.
And somehow, though, Mila doesn't grow up.
No.
I mean,
No.
Godzilla goes from
Correct.
being, a pulpy thing to
Hmm.
in a matter of months, seems
Right.
like. But Mila,
He
I guess,
smoked a lot
yeah,
in the
he
50s
stunted
and
his growth.
stunted its growth. Yes.
Yeah, hence
He
the
was a
smoke rings.
heavy smoker. Yes, yes, heavy smoker. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
what it was. It's a cautionary tale for kids. They're trying to like, don't smoke, kids.
It'll start you off.
Don't end up like Mila.
Right.
I thought it was interesting the mind control.
Yeah.
That was a big part of the plot, and which
Mhm.
was interesting, and the fact that the scientists were mind controlled and pretty, it's weird. Godzilla has that strange, and although this is true of all the stuff we had when we were kids,
Mhm.
the fact that the scientists they kill him, they cause him to commit suicide,
Yeah.
the mind control.
Yeah.
That's a bit odd for a kids movie,
Yeah.
but not really back then.
Yeah, especially when you had like Johnny Sacco shooting dudes with
Oh,
Tommy
yeah,
guns and stuff.
and then the end of Johnny Sacco, for God's sakes,
Yeah.
tragedy that it is.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Stuff we were subjected to as kids, man.
yes,
The ending of that show,
yeah.
just rough.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Mila is in there because of stuff like that. Because I noticed these movies try to encompass
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's popular,
Yeah.
and we were joking about the James Bond stuff.
Correct.
So with all of the gun, the gunplay and
The guys in the James Bond suits, and you had the henchmen fighting the other henchmen. Yeah, very much like.
And the dude the dude jumping out the window. So they gotta put something in there for the kid because there's no annoying little kid,
No.
telling the adults what they have to do.
Mm-mm. Thank God.
It's not without its charm when they do that. You got to kind of just.
Well, that's if you want all that, you watch Gamera movies. The very first Gamera movies.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and granted, if you want to watch an all-out kaiju battle, you go to the 90s. You watch Tokyo SOS, you watch Final Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really well done.
Final Wars for me has one of the best lines in Godzilla history ever. When the submarine captain guy is like, "There's 10 hits I know about Earth. One of them is Godzilla, and one of them is me."
That's right.
That dude got the Charles Bronson line.
Yeah. But those are great.
They really are.
Yeah, those are some good movies. Then that had an ongoing plot as well.
Yeah.
With the science, I mean, even with character development, scientific development.
Mm-hmm.
So they got it. They really knocked it out of the park in the 90s. But I mean, this is fun. I mean, it's just as fun as Godzilla versus Kong, getting Kong drunk, and suddenly he has lightning powers. And so
that's a movie that got butchered pretty badly.
Oh yeah,
in the American version.
But good God, I watched that.
Yeah,
as many times as I could as a kid. Yeah.
We'd watch any of them.
Yeah,
and I know Glenn's watching this, and he's probably put 7 comments in the comment section already. Which, by the way, because he's a big Godzilla fan too. Which, by the way, if you have a comment you want to chime in on this conversation, I read all the comments. Yep. So any comments you put in there will most likely get responded to. Otherwise, I don't reward bad behavior. So don't be a troll.
Right.
But yeah, if we've said something in error, let us know down below,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we'll make a it's something significant, we'll get back to it.
We're old. We don't sit here and do hours of research for this. So
No.
we could, but
We mostly
then it wouldn't be fun anymore.
Yeah.
We rely on memory
We
and
rely on memory
my phone every once in a while. I'll
Yeah.
grab my phone if we have to.
Yes.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, this was they're always fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I always enjoy watching them. So
Especially watching them in a group.
yeah,
When because it just opens itself up for entertainment on its own, because everybody brings something to the to the viewing. And I mean, tonight, like I said, it's just us, but we still had a pretty good time riffing on the movie.
yeah. I mean, and you get it's for me. I mean, it's part of all the kinds of things I liked as a kid. I mean, how many kung fu movies did I watch? Badly dubbed, badly cut for American audiences. Sometimes ridiculous plots, but man, I mean, still love them.
Yeah.
And better in the original language than just like these.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was great to get. I mean, the fact that Criterion did that and to be able to have all the Japanese versions, because
better doesn't always mean make sense.
No.
They're just
correct. And so, kind of like Battle of the Planets, much darker in the original Japanese than the Americanized. Although I prefer the voices and the music of the American version.
Yeah,
but I tried listening to the actual version, and while yes, it's more adult, it just wasn't. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, I'll die on that hill. The American version, Battle of Planets, is far superior to Gatchaman.
Yeah.
Slap me in the comments.
Yeah, I agree, because it's just I'll take my Seven Zark 7 and Susan if I have really good music and voices, and they change. I mean, they made the plot make more sense than it does in the Japanese version.
Well,
so.
and let's face it, we're getting
off track,
but that's Space Their Life. Let's face it, though, they had to put in the Seven Zark 7 stuff, because they had to cut out
so much stuff.
Violence.
Yes, they had to cut
there's so much violence in the Gatchaman stuff.
Yeah,
and Sandy Frank was targeting kids with this.
Well, and every show had to have a droid. In that era,
Star Wars.
Everything had to have a droid.
Well, and Battle of the Planets gave us R2D2 and K9.
Yes, correct. That's correct. Yep.
It was win-win.
It was win-win. Yep. So no, this is always. I mean, these are always good. I love when Sven shows the Godzilla movies.
Yeah, even the worst, which would be the 10th movie, is still fun to watch. Because it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
But dumb has its charm. I guess we should also point out these were also supplied by Aiden.
Yeah, my son.
Quite the Godzilla
fanatic.
Yes.
Yeah, and he fanatic to the point where with the Criterion Godzilla, he didn't like the fact that all the discs were in the box set, so he went out and had Blu-ray boxes made with pictures on them. So for each individual movie. Yeah. So very, like I said, very much a Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
So, and would probably know way more than us if he were here tonight. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just I mean, it's one of the things I'm glad he picked up on.
Yeah.
So Sven.
Yeah. Let's talk about Sven a little bit. I guess I'm gonna push over. I also have Blue Demon down here.
Yes.
Just waving here for the fun of it. Because if anybody could take on the kaiju, it's a luchador.
That's correct.
But no, I guess this was like a rerun.
What if it were like Attack of the 50-foot luchador against a kaiju?
Nick,
Attack on a 50-foot luchador.
Let's do this. Oh Lord.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
I guess Sven was a rerun tonight because, I mean, I was doing a little bit of pre-research before the show, and this aired last year. We're in the year of our Lord 2024. It aired last year, but I completely missed it. I think
I did too.
It was one of the few times I was out of town and on a Saturday night, and I totally missed it. But so it was new to us, and I know there's probably going to be a mountain of complaints tomorrow.
Correct.
Or probably right now as we're doing this.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a perfectly good episode.
I mean, good information on the history.
Yeah.
Good song. He did a Went to the Vault.
Yep.
Got an old clip from the vault. The only thing missing tonight was Fence Squad, which I thought was odd.
Yeah. I think it was the length of the movie.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, because he barely had time to even do the joke at the end.
And we had, I think the male segment may have been new.
Yeah, it was. It looked
but
new. Yeah,
we have another Indiana shout out in it.
yeah, we sure did. Yeah,
it was a Nashville, Indiana did a thing during the eclipse.
Yep. Yeah, so that had to be new because that would have been. Yeah, it couldn't have been last year.
True.
It couldn't have been last year. Yeah. Yep. Solving our own mystery
in real time.
Yes.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah. So no, I think the only thing was not a Fence Squad. I mean, although we got him in the Green Acres commercial. So
yeah. You know, but I just think it was the length of this movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes me wonder what he used to have to cut out. You know, like when it was shorter. So what would we have lost? What would we have lost in this movie had it been maybe some of the ships landing? endless minutes of. And, I wonder if Elon Musk watched this movie as a kid because maybe I'll have my spaceship land itself.
They could have cut out about 27, right?
Yes, right. Yes. Very military science group. This group,
yeah, and the one general who sounded like Lee Van Cleef.
Yes.
And what was it? Supposedly, Barney Miller did the
Barney. Yeah, Barney Miller did Hal Linden. Hal Linden.
Hal Linden.
Mark Twain.
Yeah.
There's a Godzilla coming over. Godzilla in King Arthur's court.
Godzilla versus the girl. What the hell's his wife's name?
Samuel L. Clemens' wife?
The chick from Designing Women.
Oh,
always go off every episode.
The not the lead one, right?
Yeah. They were married, I guess.
What's her name?
Real life.
I can't
remember. We're too lazy to look it up.
Whatever.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
Yeah. But no, Hal Linden was in pre-Barney Miller.
Yeah.
Which we looked, now that I did look up because I was curious. So apparently he did a lot of commercials and he did a lot of voiceover work for foreign films, it said, before he got famous.
Yeah.
And then did voiceover work for kids shows after he got famous.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Well, my thing was, if it was in fact Barney Miller playing that guy, he should have done more cartoons for, he would have made a great voice for Johnny Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just had that. Johnny Quest voices were always
right,
really strong presences.
Now, it would have been interesting had he done a post Barney Miller or in the midst of Barney Miller Godzilla dub and gotten the rest of the people from Barney Miller to dub.
I see something really in this. I don't know what's going on. He comes over and he goes up. What did I miss?
That would. We need a budget. Because that's a skit I'd like to see.
Oh man!
Yeah, or all the kaiju as Barney Miller.
But yeah, so rerun for us.
Mm-hmm.
Good solid episode all the way around, I thought.
Yeah. Went quickly too. That first hour goes. I mean, because I was trying to be in the show, and then after a while, I'm like, oh, okay, now I remember. He's kind of got to spark the memory.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the first hour went really fast, I thought. But
yeah.
And the fact that the aliens kept getting destroyed into the little Star Trek looking globs of pod people, and then they suddenly come back.
Yeah.
And so that got a little repetitive.
Yeah, and I think though, when I think about the writer from Matango doing this movie, them turning into little slime metal things and oozing around makes sense.
Yeah.
But and I guess this was supposed to be more of a like a Jurassic Park plot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did some research on that. I did do a little snooping around, but it evolved into what it did because the budget was hacked so badly they had to do something. But at least it doesn't have reused footage.
Correct.
Which happens in the 10th movie.
In the 10th movie.
Oh, extensively.
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? It's Mike's favorite part of the show, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not here, so
And
maybe
Shaq's favorite.
yeah, and Shaq's favorite, and maybe he'll chime in the comments,
Hmm.
uh, and let us know.
What if
But
they put Shaq inside Mechagodzilla? I think Shaq would wipe the floor if he were given a mech suit. Shaq versus Godzilla.
well, he did play Steel,
Yeah, he
so
did. So
maybe
it's not a far cry. Sorry, go ahead.
but anyway, this is the part. This is the lightning round, if you will, where we I asked people around the table um what movie they would want to see Sven play, and we know he has no control of the movies. This is that. This is just our fantasy. It's like fantasy football for people who are actually good at fantasy.
Hmm.
Um, so the question is, what kaiju movie would you really want to see on Svengoolie?
90s Gamera. I would like to see 90s
Those are
because
good movies.
it redeems Gamera.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because I mean, now as a child, God, I love Gamera. Loved Gamera movies. But as an adult, yeah, but
See,
the
I still
90s,
do.
no, I still love them. But I mean, but it's
Yeah,
still, it's just, meh.
yeah,
But the 90s Gamera, I would love to see the 90s Gamera
yeah,
on Sven. Do all three.
yeah, yeah. They're great. Look at them on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They're great movies. It's funny though because
Mhm.
mine's a Gamera pick,
Okay, okay.
but mine is Gamera versus Baragon, not the Baragon from this movie,
Hmm.
supposedly spelled with U. Gamera versus Baragon to me is, it, you know, people talk about Godzilla minus one. Have you seen Godzilla
I
minus one?
have not yet.
Okay.
I need to.
Well,
Yeah.
when it comes out and I can
Yes.
get when it has the black and white
Hmm.
version, I'll bring it over and we'll watch it.
Yeah.
But one of the things people love about the Godzilla minus one is it is quite possibly not even quite possibly it is the best human plot in any Godzilla movie. Well, in Gamera versus Baragon, it has one of the best human plots ever. To me, it's like Gamera versus Reservoir Dogs because
Mm-mm-mm.
there's this really good like double cross plot
Mhm.
where they steal this opal from this island and they're all trying to kill each in the midst of an absolute mess that is happening in Japan at the time when the monsters are these guys are fighting over over money and stuff, and
Mhm.
it's great. So yeah, I'm gonna go Gamera versus
Good. Well,
Baragon.
there we are. A whole Gamera fest.
Yeah. What movie would you guys like to see?
Hmm.
Let us know in the comments below.
Or your favorite kaiju.
Or let us know what your favorite kaiju movie is.
I would say this, but I guess Svengoolie would have to package it as a movie. But I'd love to see the Spectre Man finale
Mm,
on. I
yeah,
mean, because Spectre Man was my favorite
yeah,
as a child.
yeah. And they boiled Johnny Sacco down to a movie.
They did, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that would have been a good
yeah.
choice. The Johnny
Yeah,
Sacco movie
it's
would
a
be great.
decent. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or even the bat crazy space giants,
So
which just scared the crap out of me as a kid. Those guys that turn into the ooze puddles.
don't get Mike started on Space Giants.
No,
No.
okay.
No, we were at a convention years ago, and our table neighbor was this guy who did like fanfic comics and had all kinds of trivia about Space Giants. This dude was obsessed with Space Giants.
Wow.
You didn't even have to like make eye contact with the guy to get him to talk to you. He
Oh
was
wow.
just like he wanted to talk about Space Giants that much.
Hmm.
And one of his bones of contention is the replacement GAM. Like he would just go on and on about how the
Mhm.
original GAM was far superior to the. I'm like,
He might be right, but
yeah,
but really to be
that's a
good.
strange
Yeah,
hill,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
That's a strange
yeah.
hill. Speaking of hills to die on, I think this episode's about dead.
Yep.
I'm Paul,
I'm Mark.
and this has been the return of the son of the show.
La 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 la